This is Coop with Garage Gym Reviews, and today I'm going to review the XebeX fitness rower from GetRx. Now I'm going to start by talking about it while it's folded up. One reason I'm talking about it like this is because I think this is one of the coolest features with a Concept 2 rower, and that's what all you guys are going to compare this to, is a Concept 2, and you should. The Concept 2 is the gold standard. Before, if you were going to buy a rower, there was one option in my mind, and that option was the Concept 2, and then within those you could decide whether you wanted the Model C, D, E, things like that. And I'm going to review the XebeX rower and compare it to a Concept 2. Now I do have a Concept 2, however I have an older Model B Concept 2, so I'm going to try and compare it to the newer version, the Model D that most of you have. In my mind, after using this, there isn't a clear-cut answer on which one's better. This one has some better things than the Concept 2, and then the Concept 2 has some better things than this has. But I'm going to go over that, and but this first feature is how it folds up. It's very simple. The Concept 2 Model D, if you want to fold it up, you kind of just put it up on its stand, but stand up. Now for garages, that's not really, it doesn't provide a whole lot of portability, because the problem is it stands up so tall. If you have a garage door or something like that, like I have, you really can't keep it up like that. You have to keep it in the flat out position. And I guess for gyms, you know, it's not as big of a deal. They can stand them out. But this takes up a lot less space, and there's wheels not only on the front but also in the back, so you can push it back and forth very easily. For you gym owners that, you know, you don't want a lot of liability with something falling on one of your clients or something like that, I think this is a great feature that they can use that goes back and forth. Tasty. I'm now going to take it out of the folded position to show you how easy it is. Maybe I should throw in some Transformer graphics or sound effects right here, because that's kind of what it feels like. But it's very simple. You just pull this pin here. While I'm on this, assembly wise, some people always ask about assembly. When I did the review on the XebeX air bike, and I'll put a link up here for you guys somewhere on the screen for you to click on. But I had a lot of questions on the assembly. So I have trouble with the rower right here or with the air bike. You know, it was very easy to put together. Okay, I really didn't even need an instruction manual. But moving on, the way that you pull it down is there's a pin right here. You simply pull it back, and this part drops down. Okay, so it drops down. This isn't the final position. There's a handle that's bolted right here. It's a very sturdy handle, and I'm glad they made it like this. You see, the problem with a lot of this stuff is overall it can be fine, but if you have one piece of it that's made out of cheap plastic or something like that, and that ends up breaking, that's a problem. When you're spending as much as you are on a piece of equipment like this, you want it to last forever. Little nuances like this are things that I like. This handle is very sturdy. You know, and it's very easy to pull up on. So this is the position it goes into, and then you simply grab the handle, pull up, and it locks into place. That easy. So as you can see, getting into this thing is pretty easy. Just step in. I mean, it's almost like just sitting in a normal chair. You're pretty high off. It feels kind of weird at first if you're used to the Model D Concept 2. But you strap in just like normal. These plates right here, these foot plates, adjust with this little orange tab. They go up and down very easily. I think this is a good design versus Concept 2's. Concept 2's is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. This is a little bit more intuitive. It's a little bit easier. But then again, it is more complex, which could lead to breakage. So, you know, whereas Concept 2's is pretty simple. It's just a latch system. But you set that up, put your feet in, and then cinch down just like you would with Concept 2. So not a big difference on the foot pegs. They have the plastic on the back that goes up with you as you go in, so very similar to the Concept 2 in that manner. Now, when you start to pull the handle, I'm really not that big of a fan of the handle, to be honest. Compared to the Concept 2, I do like the handle on the Concept 2 better. The row feels the exact same as a Concept 2. I honestly cannot tell a difference. I have my old Model B that I'll bring out here to show you some of the differences. But you know, the Model B and the Model D are different. But as far as this one and the Model D, which is the one that most CrossFit gyms have, the one that comes in black, you know, I mean, they're very similar. I don't feel any difference between the pulls, any difference between the lengths of it, any difference between the resistance. They actually even have the same flywheel. So the flywheel is literally the exact same. You can see it goes from all the way from 1 to 10 as far as how much air is going to be let into the unit. It feels the exact same as the Concept 2 when in use. I would say that the flywheel is probably the same. I've seen some diagrams of the inside of this one. I haven't seen the diagrams of the inside of a Concept 2, but I mean, this is built very well, and I would say that the actual flywheel unit is, if not the exact same, it's very similar to the Concept 2. Now the seat on this, it's something I notice every time I sit down. I really like it. Versus the Concept 2 that really doesn't have much form to it. This seat has a very similar padding, but on the back it's got a cup to it, so it cups your butt. You know, I mean, it's very comfortable. I've rode for pretty extended periods of time on this, you know, thousands of meters.
1,002.
I do find that it's more comfortable than Concept 2 seat. And that's important if you're spending a lot of time on the rower. So for you actual collegiate rowers out there that are looking for a rower, as far as comfort on the actual rower, this is just as comfortable, if not more comfortable than the Concept 2. Now sometimes on cheap rower units, when you start your initial pull, there's a little bit of slack that you have to take out before it starts to actually spin the flywheel. Now the Concept 2 kind of did away with that, because when you start pulling, you're pretty much starting to spin that flywheel. This feels very similar to that of the Concept 2 in that manner. So when you start to pull, it's not like you know, there's some spacing before it starts to actually grab the flywheel. As soon as you start cranking on this bad boy, it's gonna start spinning that flywheel. Now the actual smoothness of the rail and how the seat glides on it is very similar to the Concept 2 again. So it follows the rail very easily. There's a slight slant going downward. That way when you're done with it, the seat automatically goes down to the front. It feels the same as the Concept 2. Feeling this, I believe it's made out of aluminum, the actual rail is. I mean, it's solid construction, feels great, very smooth. And overall the unit is, you know, it's not very light. I would say it's a little bit heavier than the Concept 2. I don't know for sure, but when I felt them both, this one does feel a little bit sturdier and heavier. Now, as far as the actual black pieces you see, they're either plastic or they're powder coated steel essentially. So this would what you would see on like maybe my Rogue rack or things like that. It has the same powder coating feel to it. And then some of this is plastic. I'm gonna take a look at the monitor. You know, this is one thing that I dislike about the XebeX rower versus the Concept 2, okay? I will give it to Concept 2 in this manner. The Concept 2's monitor blows this thing out of the water. I don't want to say it blows it out of the water. I would just say that the Concept 2 monitor is better. Now, can you hook up a Concept 2 monitor to the XebeX rower? I don't know. I don't know if they have the same connection, but if you could, that would be a great marriage. Monitor, you simply click, you can click start, or you can just begin rowing and it will sense that you're rowing. This is just the opening screen that starts. You can go through modes and look at various modes so you can set your distance. This goes up in 500 meter increments. So, you know, 500,000, yeah. You can hit mode again to go over time duration. So if you want to go for 6 minutes, 7 minutes, you know, this is all based on minute intervals once again. Next mode. I'm not sure what this mode is, to be honest with you. There's a few others. I have no idea what that is either. This could be for cyclance or frequency, so how often you want to do it. So this could be used for 2010, this could be used for Tabatas and things like that. Various ones, and then it goes back to the front. So, you know, overall, the as far as the functionality of the monitor, for the majority of people, I'd say 99% of people that are going to use a rower, you know, this monitor works just fine. But for those that, you know, really want some more functionality and things like that, the Concept 2 will serve you better in that area. So there's the old Stallion. As you can see, that thing is an absolute relic, antique, but it is awesome. Many meters have been rode on that thing. I like it quite a bit, to be honest. But compared to the XebeX rower, you know, I really didn't notice it, but you know, now that I've actually used it, it's a huge difference. So just to summarize some of my final thoughts, you know, this is probably a longer video review, which is fine with me. Some of you guys probably want shorter videos, but on something like this, I think it's important to go through all the details because it does have some complexity to it. But my final thoughts, should you buy the XebeX rower or the Concept 2? I think because of the price of the XebeX rower being cheaper than the Concept 2, I don't really see a reason why you wouldn't buy this, except if you wanted the different calculations. So if you were planning on using it, say in the CrossFit Open, or you know, you have a bunch of Concept 2s and you want to use a XebeX rower to go against them, things like that, then I could see where you would go with the Concept 2. But the quality of this piece is on par, if not better, than the Concept 2. Okay, I mean that's really all there is to it.